40 years since the National Resistance Army captured state power in 1986. Following a protracted 5-year guerrilla war led by President Museveni against Apollo Milton Obote, who was accused of rigging the 1980 elections. The anniversary is a triple celebration for Museveni, firstly because he was declared the winner of the January 2026 elections, and he is the only driver to ever steer the uninterrupted 40-year run by the National Resistance Movement.
This is a real vote of confidence to the great works he has offered to his motherland, Uganda.
Proponents of the NRM claim a significant difference between the regime and the previous governments on account of political stability, peace and security.
Concerned democracy, we have achieved like maybe 80%. Because everybody, when it comes after 5 years, everybody goes standing from the president up to LC1. 2, we promised national security. For the first time in the history of this country, all 72,000 villages of this country are in the hands of central government.
Uganda has been stable, and we have had 6 successful cycles of elections. New parties have emerged, other parties have diminished, and people are blossoming in democracy.
The January 15, 2026 general election was the 7th to be conducted under the NRM regime, starting with 1996, when the regime first legitimized its hold on power after 10 years.
7, 8, 9, 10.
NRM prides itself on creating a conducive environment for political plurality.
What NRM has done, which wasn't there before, it has even enabled the parties to receive funding from government. This has helped the parties in Uganda, and this is something that is very beautiful.
But the regime stands accused of leading deadly attacks, abductions and prosecutions of players in the opposition political parties deemed formidable challengers to the status quo. The 2021 general elections went down as the most violent in Uganda's history, which by the government's admission, 54 people were shot dead following the riots that were sparked by the arrest of the National Unity Platform presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi. The musician-turned-politician who contested again against Museveni in 2026 has not been seen physically in public or at home except for his video recordings and statements issued on social media. Kyagulanyi went into hiding after security operatives besieged his home shortly after the electoral body declared the presidential results.
There is nothing like political stability, there is nothing like peace, there is nothing like security. We saw what happened in this electoral process. We saw a massacre in 2021. So at the end of the day, it is still the same things. Just that they have tried to cover it up. Even when they shut down the internet during the election, we were attacked. Personally, I was attacked by security officials who were demanding that I submit the president's DR form. So there is nothing like that.
If we went through abductions, if you went through northern Uganda, kidnaps and abductions, if you didn't suffer from Nixon Agassire's, misfortunes across the city, if you don't suffer from, Abdallah Chitata, you can proudly claim the peace we've had. You can proudly claim that.
You have now political leaders who are instigating their supporters that they should be rebels. You have political leaders in this country who are saying you should ban your country, like what has happened in Tanzania, Nepal, and others. Those are political leaders. Nobody expected that.
The regime has clamped down on civil society organizations deemed critical of the government by suspending their licenses.
Peace or security is not just the absence of war. There must be presence of justice. The likes of Kizza Besigye are in prison, the likes of Sarah Birete, the likes of our deputy presidents, Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi, Honorable Linda Zedriga, Honorable Jacqueline. Our president himself is in hiding because he's being searched for. His home has been raided twice.
Towards the 2021 general elections, 54 NGOs were suspended, and in the middle of the 2026 campaigns, the African Center for Media Excellence, Chapter for Uganda, among others, faced similar suspensions.
Independence to 1986, Uganda had changed leaders 8 times, all removed from office by either violent coups or wars. This, of course, led the country into total anarchy that collapsed the economy to ground zero. Thousands of Ugandans were killed, others were displaced, and many ran into exile.
The situation changed in 1986 when instead of the 8 presidents who ruled Uganda in 24 years, there has been one in 40 years. The citizens who had endured 2.5 decades of turmoil and suffering had breathed a sigh of relief when the NRM took over power with the promise of turning round their predicaments. This was echoed through the words Museveni delivered at the steps of Parliament during his swearing-in, stating that theirs was not a mere change of guards, but a fundamental change.
I think this is a fundamental change in the politics of our country.
Museveni underscored that the problem of Africa in general, and Uganda in particular, is not people, but the leaders who want to overstay in power. The hope of a peaceful transfer of power from Museveni, who captured the government through the barrel of the gun 40 years ago, appears to die with every election cycle.
Me, I have conceded defeat. We can't beat him through an election. We can't beat him through competition. No force is going to beat Museveni. There will be no street protests because he has taken so many lessons from wherever those things have happened. So he has kept the country under an active occupation. But also, there's no foreign power which is going to come and remove Museveni.
For those like Seru Nkuma, the concern is that the regime shifted goalposts by removing the constitutional safeguards which guaranteed a smooth transition of power. In 2005, members of parliament amended the constitution to remove the 2-term limitation for a president, and in 2017, the age cap for a person eligible to be president was thrown out.
We're dealing with an old man, and old age comes with so many frailties and fragilities and surprises health-wise. So that for me is a major worry as we go into 40 years of liberation, because with one center of power staying in this country, with one center of power left in this country, which is the office of the president, you worry that if that center of power suddenly gets affected, there will be absolute mayhem across the country.
Museveni, 81, oftentimes joked to the podium during his campaigns in a show of stamina and strength, as if to take away any doubts about his ability to serve because of old age, and that there will still be more of the same leadership for the foreseeable future. Jackson Onyango, NTV.